Hey guys, I'm here with a budget deck profile. Today we're basically going to cover a Stardust Synchro deck profile. I know you guys said you wanted a more budget deck. I think for the most part, this deck's very, very affordable. I think right off the bat, your most expensive cards for the main deck are going to be the Stardust Synchron, which isn't too bad. You only need 2 copies and it's around $12 to $14 each. And then the other expensive card, if you choose to play it, is going to be Ask a Skater Dawnwalker, which is around, I think, $15 as well a piece. But I will note that what you can do instead of playing these 3, so the package that you see here is these 3 Dawnwalkers and then 1 Fire Ant, a Skater, but the Fire Ants you can get for like 20 cents. But these come out to around $45 to $50 for a play set. So if you want to go even more budget, what you can do is cut these and play either additional boost warriors, additional effect failures, additional synchron carriers, which is actually really good too. But these basically are just an extender. You don't need to play them. You can play more hand traps, which I would probably recommend doing. If you're not going to play that package, maybe play 2 more effect failures, and then since you also have to cut the skater, if you're cutting these, then maybe play another couple effect failures as well. But other than that, most of these cards are very, very affordable. They all have a lot of reprints, so I don't think you're going to have a problem building the main deck for very budget. As you can see here, we'll go through the list, but as you can see, I'm playing Chalice. You can switch that out for Dark Rulers or Forbidden Droplets. I'd say for this format, you most likely want to go Forbidden Droplet or Chalice. But I also have Cosmic Cyclone as an option as well. But I think that you should be playing some sort of monster negation if you are having to go second. But other than that, we can go ahead and get into the list. You're going to be playing 2 Stardust Synchron, 1 Stardust Trail. This is also a card that you don't have to play, but if you draw it, it can be a very good extender. So I included 1 copy just for the heck of it. And then 1 Arrive in Light, 1 Converging Will's Dragon, 1 Stardust Illumination, 3 Synchro Overtakes. This is basically the all-star card in your deck. You really, really want to play 3 of these. I think now they're like $4 or $5, so they're extremely affordable. And I think it's a great investment long-term. You're also going to be playing 3 Junk Converter. I do think that this card has gone up recently. It might be like a $6 or $7 card, but it's not too bad. So you're going to be playing 3 of those, 3 Tuning. I know you can get those as common or super rare for very cheap, but they do have ultimate rare too if you want to go bling bling. 3 Junk Synchron, very cheap. 3 Doppel Warriors, 1 Black Garden, 1 Reinforcement of the Army, 1 Omni Dragon Brotar, 1 Cyber Synchron, 3 Kalika Claws. They're just not together. I guess I can move those around and get them together. 3 Kalika Claws, 3 Skater Dawnwalkers. Like I said, that's optional. 1 Synchron Carrier, 1 Effect Failure. And basically the effect failure is kind of like if you draw it, cool, you have an additional negation, but it's also like a lot of times with this deck you'll have tokens or whatnot, and it's nice to like have the option if you draw into this to also use it as a synchro material if needed. And then 1 Fire Ant, the Skater, 1 Boost Warrior, 1 Fairy Tale Snow. This is also optional. You can cut this and play effect failure if you'd like an additional copy. We'll talk why we're playing this. But to continue on, we got Foolish Burial and then 3 Chalice. Now for the extra deck, for the most part, everything is extremely affordable. Obviously, the most expensive card here is definitely going to be your Baronet de Fleur. This is definitely the most expensive card for this deck. I think even with this card, this deck is still fairly cheap. But if you want to budget out, you don't need to play this. You really, really don't. It's not like mandatory whatsoever. Like you can, I put Trishula and Mistworm in here as like other cards that you could play in its place. But actually there's, I think it's Satellite Warrior is actually probably the best card now that I'm thinking about it. And this card is $5, I think, $5 or $6. It's an ultra rare. It's pretty cool looking. But it's, I think, a level 10 as well. Yep. So that would be probably the best, actually, is go with Satellite Warrior instead. And that will make it like a super budget deck. But for the extra deck, we have one Stardust Dragon, one Shooting Majestic Star Dragon. This is a really cool secret rare out of Dawn of Majesty, and it's like probably $4 at most. One Garden Rose Maiden, one Herald of the Arclight, one FA Dawn Dragster, one Junk Speeder, one TG Hyper Librarian, one Excel Synchron, one Crystal Wing Synchro Dragon, one Celestial Double Star Shaman, one Junk Archer, one Cosmic Blazer Dragon, one Stardust Charge Warrior, one Shooting Riser Dragon, and then one Baronet of Floor or Stardust. I mean, is it Stardust? No, just Satellite Warrior. Up to you what you want to do for the money. What I'm going to do though, instead of, so what I decided to do is kind of show the deck profile on here, and then show you the actual combo, like with physical cards. The main deck doesn't have 40 cards right now currently because I don't have any staples in it. Like I don't think there's any effect failures or droplets or chalices or anything right now. So I just figured I'll just show you the full list on here. Oh, I still don't have Fairy Tale Snow. So I figured I would show you the list on here, and then I can show you the combo, because the basic combo is not going to include Fairy Tale Snow. That's more of a later game thing or a tech choice. And obviously the combo is not going to need effect failure or chalices. But what I'll do is go ahead and switch the camera to desk view and then go over the combo. So let me stop share. Oops, sorry about that. All right. So, oh yeah, by the way, I have a Ultimate Rare tuning. It looks extremely good. So if you want to go like really cool with this deck, you can. I only have one copy of it. The rest of them are super rares, but up to you what you want to do. Of course, if you're going budget, I would get the supers or just the commons. Basically, for this combo, what you need for the best combo, at least, is going to be a Doppel Warrior and a Synchro Overtake. What we'll do is I'll just add a tuning to hand, as like I think you might need like an extra discard. So we do need like one additional card in hand to discard with. And you don't have to have these cards, but like this is going to be your most optimal combo play to have these two. And then maybe I'll go over a combo where you don't have these. But there's like you saw in the video, there's tons of extenders to help you get. Basically what you want to do is get to your Junk Speeder as quickly as possible. So that's what we're going to try to do. I've got my computer facing away from me. It's like on the other desk, so I might have to check to make sure you guys can see what I'm playing at all times. But I'll try to make sure that it stays on screen. Basically what you want to do first is go ahead and use your Synchro Overtake. And basically what it lets you do is reveal an extract monster and then special summon, or not an extract monster, you can reveal one Synchro monster and then special summon a monster that is specifically listed on that card. So what you need is your Junk Archer. And this is actually one of the more expensive extra deck cards. I think this might be like $15, unfortunately. I think there's two versions though. This is the ultra rare, which is a little bit more expensive than the super rare. Or I think maybe it has two ultra rares and one might be like in Duel Saga. I'd have to check. Maybe we'll check on that the next market watch. But we're going to reveal the Junk Archer, and that's going to special summon our Junk Synchron from deck. Make sure there's no other. So yeah, we'll mention when you use Synchro Overtake, you cannot special summon any monsters from the extra deck the turn you activated, except for Synchro monsters. So you can't really do like any type of Halka-Fibrax shenanigans, but this is also a budget deck. So, I mean, with Halka-Fibrax being $60, $70 plus, like it just doesn't make sense anyways under the budget guys. But after you special summon your Junk Synchron, you're going to normal summon Doppelweir. And then you're going to link summon those, or not link summon, Synchro, sorry, into your Junk Speeder. I apologize for the zones, but I'll try to keep like zones looking decent. And basically what you're going to do to chain block your Junk Speeder is go chain link 1 Junk Speeder, chain link 2 Doppelweir. And that way, like they can't hash it. So we'll go ahead and get the Doppelweir effect. You get 2 tokens, and then Junk Speeder. You're gonna get 1 Junk Synchron, 1 Stardust Synchron, and you're also gonna get your Cyber Synchron. And then on summon, you're gonna activate Stardust Synchron. That's gonna add your Arrive in Light to hand. It is pretty important to note that there's a lot of timing of your cards because of their effects. So you need to like not use your Arrive in Light right away. But the first thing we're going to do is go ahead and synchro off the Stardust Synchron and 1 token. And go into, where's that, TG Hyperlibrarian. It's important to note the reason why we don't activate our Arrive in Light first is because it does not interact well with TG Hyperlibrarian. It's going to basically not allow you to get the effect off that you need to get off. But now that we got TG Hyperlibrarian off, it's important that you want to get this first so you can maximize your draws. Like you can just do it later, it doesn't really matter, but if you do this first, then you're going to get more draws. So that's why you want to do that. Next, you want to synchro your Cyber Synchron and 1 of your tokens. And you're going to go into Celestial Double Star Shaman. So TJ Hyperlibrarian is always going to be like your chain link 1, and that's the reason why you don't use it with Arrive in Light. But you're going to go ahead and activate your Celestial Double Star Shaman. And it says when this card is synchro summoned, you can special summon up to 4 level 2 non-tuner monsters from your hand or graveyard in defense position, but they have their effects negated. Also, you cannot special summon monsters from the extra deck for the rest of the turn except for synchro monsters. But like I said, we don't care about that because we're already locked out anyways. So you're going to special summon back your Doppelweir. And then you're going to draw a card on TG Hyperlibrarian. We're just going to do it like this because I'm not going to do theoreticals of what if we draw this, what if we draw this, you know. So I think it's just going to be better if we just kind of like represent it as like a blank card. And we don't need additional cards anyways. From here, what you're going to do is synchro summon your Junk Synchron and your Doppelweir. And you're going to go into Garden Rose Maiden. And we're going to go, obviously this is going to be 1 because it has to, and then this is going to be 2, and then 3 is going to be Doppelweir. So we're going to get our 2 tokens. And then Garden Rose Maiden is going to add our Black Garden to hand. I'm going to be careful. I'm going to shift this just slightly so it can stay on the screen here. Okay, that looks like you can see it pretty well. Okay, and then we get the draw for Hyperlibrarian. From here, we've done everything we can. So we're going to go ahead and activate our Arrive in Light. And when you activate it, what it's going to do is you're going to place 1 level 1 dragon monster from your hand or deck on the top of the deck. So we're going to add our place our Converging Wills Dragon on the top. And basically, its effect is whenever we synchro summon a card, you can use both of these effects in the same turn, I'm pretty sure. Yep, so you can use both effects once per turn. that makes sense. So whenever we synchro summon, that's going to activate the effect. We'll draw a card. But from here, we're going to synchro summon the Garden Rose Maiden, Double Celestial Star Shaman, and the TG Hyper Librarian. And we're going to go into Cosmic Blazer Dragon. That's basically a Omni Negate. So it's really good to get on the field. If they haven't nipped us at this point, then we're safe. And basically what this does is if they activate an effect, you can negate it, and it's going to banish itself, but then on the next turn, it's going to special summon itself back. So it's just a really good card, and it's got 4,000 attack and 4,000 defense. Because we synchro summoned, you can activate your Arriving Light to draw one card. And since we drew Converging Will's Dragon, we can special summon it from the hand and then activate its effect to special summon a level 1 dragon from the deck, which we are going to be special summoning Omni Dragon Brotar. We're then going to activate Brotar's effect. We're going to target one of the tokens, which, because it's a Doppel Warrior token, it's a warrior, a dark level warrior. And Brotar is going to let us add to our hand one of the same type and attribute. So we are going to add a Junk Synchron to hand. And that's very important that you do that because this will come up later. From this point, we are going to activate the Stardust Synchron Engrave. Basically what that does is you can tribute a monster to special summon it from your graveyard. So you just want to tribute any level 1, it doesn't matter really. But Omni Dragon Brotar is nice to have engraved because if a dragon monster in your field, is it a dragon or any monster? So if it's any monster on your field is destroyed by your like a battle or your opponent's card effect, then it special summons itself back. So we're going to special summon the Stardust Synchron back from the grave. And then from this point, we're going to go into Excel Synchron. So whenever you synchro Stardust, or whenever Stardust Synchron leaves the field again after its effect, it gets banished, which is okay. So you're going to synchro that off. That's a token. To Excel Synchron, you're going to activate your Arriving Light's secondary effect to special summon one tune from your hand whenever you synchro summon a monster. So we're going to special summon Junk Synchron. Just to make sure everything is visible in the field. Looks like it is for the most part. Just continue to move stuff down a little bit. From this point, let's see. Got to try to remember because it's been a while since I played the deck, but I'm fairly confident that I know what I'm doing. Okay. From this point, we're going to activate the Black Garden. And this is very important when you activate this card, and basically try to remember it's right after you special summon the Junk Synchron from your hand. So we're gonna go ahead and synchro summon into, where's that? Crystal Wing Synchro Dragon. And Black Garden is going to activate. Unfortunately, we do actually want to special summon this in defense position because it loses half of its attack. But whenever it's summoned, it loses half its attack. But then Black Garden is going to give our opponent a token on their side of the field, just like that. You can see it. And then we're going to activate Black Garden's effect, and it's going to basically. I'm gonna read it just to make sure, but I know for a fact it's what it does, but I don't know the exact effect. So you can target one monster in your graveyard with attack equal to the total attack of all plant monsters on the field, which the only plant monster is going to be this token, which has 800 attack. Destroy this card and as many plant monsters on the field as possible. Then if you destroyed all of them, special summon that targeted monster. So what we're going to do is target our Doppel Warrior in the grave, and we're going to pop the opponent's token and the Black Garden. And that is going to special summon back our Doppel Warrior. From here, we're going to Synchro summon Converging Will's Dragon. It's important to note you can only use this as a material for a majestic monster, so keep that in mind. But you're going to Synchro this and your Crystal Wing Dragon, which seems crazy, but we're going to get this back. And we're going to go into shooting Majestic Star Dragon. I'd actually just put it in defense position because it's got 3,300 defense, even though it has 4,000 attack. No one's going to get through that, but you don't want to get Lightning Storm. Even though you could negate it, you just don't want to waste a negate on something like that. From here, we're going to activate the effect of Doppel Warrior because it was Synchro summoned. So we're going to get 2 more tokens. Yeah, we still have 1 token on the field. And you have some options here. I will say typically what I will do here is go into, let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. I think you can make Baronetta here, Baronetta Flora. You send 1 Synchron monster from your deck to the graveyard. So from this point, I'm going to activate Excel Synchron. And send the Synchron Carrier. Yep, it doesn't have to be a tuner. That's going to increase its level by 2. So it's now at 7. So we go 7, 8, 9, 10. Oops. And then alternatively, if you don't have Baronet, like you can go into Trishula if you want. But you'll have 1 token left on the field. But alternatively, what you can also do, which I think is pretty good. Actually, let me go ahead and get this monster on the field before I forget. I'm going to put that in attack position. But you can also go for a Synchro summon of F.A. Dom Draxler, which is a level 7. You just wouldn't activate the effect to send anything to grave, and then just use 2 tokens for the 7, and that's going to give you a spell negate. So this is actually really good too. If you're not playing Baronetta Floor, and I think that's probably your best option to go into. Either that or go into Trishula if you wanted to. You don't want to go into Satellite Warrior because Satellite Warrior is more of a going second card or like later in the game because it's going to pop cards. So I wouldn't do that yet. And then before the turn's over, like don't forget that in your graveyard you have a Garden Rose Maiden, so you can banish that from your graveyard and to activate its effect, special summon a dragon monster from your graveyard. I think it's specifically level 8 or higher dragon monster. Then target 1 Rose Dragon monster or 1 Dragon Synchro monster in your graveyard. So just have to be a Dragon Synchro, it doesn't matter. So we're going to get back our Crystal Wing Dragon. You can put it in defense or attack, it doesn't really matter. And then you're sitting on your end board. I think you should be able to see it fine, but so basically what you have is you have 1 monster negate, and then you also have a 1 Omni negate, 2 Omni negate, 3 Omni negates here on board. So that's pretty good. So you get 3 Omni negates that whenever they negate, or 2 that bring themselves back. So these both banish themselves when they negate, and then they'll bring themselves back in the following turn. And then you get 1 Omni negate that can also pop cards when it comes back to your turn. But like I said, you can also just play the Dragster and just do the spell negates. And then you also get 1 monster negate. And this one's a really, like Crystal Wing is really hard to get over just because it gains attack whenever it negates. So it's pretty good. But yeah, this is a super fun deck. And really strong. Like if you get to this point, like you're gonna win for sure. There's pretty much no way to get through this board. Like Regekis and all that stuff doesn't matter because you have multiple like Omni gates to deal with it. But what I can do is kind of go through, if you don't open that strong, We can talk about some of the other options that you have. But basically, we didn't even need the discard actually. I don't think, unless I missed a step, but I'm pretty sure you only need the discard if you're doing okay, so we did miss something. So for the Omni Dragon Brotar, whenever you target the Doppel Warrior token, you need to discard a card. So at that point, we would discard the tuning from the hand. So basically what you need for this like full combo is just, let's go back. Where's that? So all you need is your Synchro Overtake and a Doppel Warrior in hand. And then you just need one discard. Unfortunately, like sometimes what will happen is you'll draw like a card that you want in your deck, like Omni Dragon Brotar. It's not the end of the world. Like you're still going to get some negates on board and some disruptions, but that does happen. It's not like you're not going to consistently get to that many negates. But you do have other ways to get to that. I'll walk you through that. Let me just try to separate some of these extra deck cards. So put the deck back together. Let's talk about it. Extra deck. Extra deck. Yep. All right. So to get that combo, what also can happen? So this one's got to be really lucky. So you'd have to activate your tuning to add your Junk Synchron to hand, and then you send one card from the top of your deck to the graveyard. So if that sends Doppel Warrior, like it's happened before, but I would never count on that happening. But that is one way to do it. Another way is if you open, say either tuning or Junk Synchron. So either or, not both. And then you open, I don't know if I have it in this deck right now. It might be in a different deck. Should be in this deck actually. But I did include it in the deck profile, so there's no confusion. But Foolish Burial, because you can activate your Foolish Burial, get to your Doppel Warrior, same deal. So that is an option. And then I will say, that's like pretty much all of your ways to get to your Doppel Warrior. That's going to give you the optimum combo. But we'll say that you open, I guess really any tuner in your deck will do, except for, I mean, like obviously if you open Cyber Synchron, that sucks too. But that's why we play one ofs. But let's just say you open a Junk Converter and let's say you open Stardust Synchron. So you'll see what I mean. Like you can still make it work, but it's not ideal. But you're gonna activate your Junk Converter. Actually, I do want like one discard. So make sure this is not important. Yeah, we'll just one discard. Activate, send these to graveyard, and then add a monster to your hand. You're gonna add your Junk Synchron off of the Junk Converter. It's not one monster, it's add one Synchron monster, sorry. You're gonna normal summon your Junk Synchron. That's going to, second, special summon back your Junk Converter. You're then going to Synchro summon these off. Go into your level 5 Junk Speeder. If you want to, you can activate Junk Converter to chain block your Junk Speeder. I'm trying to think if I want to do that or not. Yeah, we'll do it. So I'll special summon back the Junk Synchron off Junk Converter. So chain link 1, chain link 2. So we special summon back the Junk Synchron, then activate the Junk Speeder. That's going to get a Cyber Synchron, a Junk Synchron, and a Stardust Synchron. Stardust, going to activate its effect. add your arriving light. From here, because you're so limited, you don't have too many options, but what I usually do is go ahead and activate the arriving light, because you're not going to have to worry about weird interactions with your hyper librarian, because that's not going to be summoned. So you're going to go ahead and activate your arriving light, place your converging will dragon on top. So you go ahead and activate. Oh no! So then go ahead and synchro summon from there. You're going to do junk synchron and junk speeder into. Make sure that's all on screen. You're going to go into your crystal wing synchro dragon defense position. And then you're going to activate your arriving light. Draw the card. It's converging wills dragon. Converging wills dragon. You're going to target your junk synchron. We're going to add a doppel warrior. Oh wait, what am I doing? Back that up one step. So we're going to do that, but we're going to have to activate Converging Wills Dragon to special summon the Omni Dragon Brotar. So sorry. And then Brotar is going to target the Junk Synchron, adding the Doppel Warrior to hand. But we have to discard a card, remember, for the activation of Brotar. Should make sure I didn't mess anything up. Yep, everything's fine. We're good to go. Okay. Now from here, I'm going to be very careful about how I go about this. So I think probably what I want to do is activate the Stardust Synchron, tribute the one on the field to special summon itself. Nope, I can't do that. Sorry, that was stupid. Go back. It doesn't really matter which one's on the field. I need to actually synchro summon first. I'm trying to think what's the best way to go about doing this. So let's see. If I go into the Celestial Double Star, I can get the Doppel Warrior from hand. But then I don't really need that. I don't need another tuner though. So let's do, I know what I can do actually. We're gonna go Stardust Synchron and Brotar into the Maiden. Maiden activate effect at the Black Garden to hand. From here, I think probably the best play. I think probably the best play from here is to tribute the Cyber Synchron for Stardust Synchron. And what that's going to do is trigger Doppel Warrior in hand because we special summon a monster from the graveyard, so we can special summon this to the field. From here, I'm going to go ahead and synchro Crystal Wing, Doppel Warrior, and Converging Wills for the Shooting Majestic Star Dragon. And then what you can then decide to do is, because we want to get Garden Rose Maiden into the grave. Oh, you know what? Back that up one step. Since Doppel Warrior went to the grave, we're going to activate Doppel Warrior, get us 2 tokens. I forgot to mention, make sure. Oh, I didn't use the Stardust yet. Never mind. Okay. there's our 2 tokens. What I'm going to do in my case, since I have Baronet Floor, is go ahead and do the Junk Synchron plus the 2 tokens and Garden Rose for Baronet Floor. Tokens, go back over here. But alternatively, like I said, you can go into, what you could do is instead go into Stardust Dragon. Let's say if we, and we would have still 2 tokens on the field. So you could go into Stardust Dragon. And then with your Stardust Synchron, you could link that off. So it's going to be a level 4 plus the 2 tokens. And you would go into your Stardust Charge Warrior with the 2 tokens. So alternatively, this is what you could do. And that's going to give you an extra draw, which is pretty good. And then actually Stardust Dragon is really not bad to have on the field because whenever Stardust, let me read Majestic Star. I'm pretty sure whenever it's in your graveyard. So this card gains the Shooting Majestic Star gains 1 additional attack each battle phase for every monster in your graveyard that is Stardust Dragon or is a Synchro monster with Stardust Dragon in its text. So if you have to tribute this card to negate a spell card or whatever, a spell card that tries to destroy a card in the field, or if this card just ends up in the graveyard because you synchro summon it into something else the next turn or for whatever reason. This is banished, by the way, if we do this. This is going to gain additional attack. So that's like a really nice interaction. This has 4,000 attack, so you can pretty easily end the game pretty quickly. But yeah, so I wouldn't do this personally, but like I said, if you're going the budget option, that's still like 1 Omni Negate, and I would kind of count Stardust Dragon as the negate. And then you get a draw, so you're setting up your next turn. But like I said, I would just go into the Baronet Floor. Oh yeah, I forgot to, I don't know why I keep forgetting to do this, but you're not done. You actually get more than that. So let's go back. Let's just assume that you guys aren't playing Baronet Floor. Maybe you are, maybe you aren't. But we'll go over both end boards basically on what we played. So let's say you have the Stardust Dragon and the Stardust Charge Warrior. Then what you could do is go to your graveyard, banish your Garden Rose Maiden, and special summon back that Crystal Wing Synchro Dragon. So yeah, if you're going like the pure budget, you're not playing Baronet Floor, you're going to get 1 Omni Negate, 1 draw, 1 protection against destruction, and then 1 monster negate, which I think is really good. And then alternatively, if you are playing Baronet, what you're going to do is get your Baronet Floor, which I think is really, really good. But I'm sorry that last combo was a little choppy, but it was kind of a very hypothetical situation if you don't like open the nuts. So hopefully you guys paid attention through that or didn't get too bored. But let me know what you think about this deck profile. Let me switch the camera back to me actually real quick. All right, yeah. So let me know what you guys think of the deck profile, and if there's like any suggestions for changing it or making it more budget, or if you have any questions. I know it's kind of like a pretty hard combo. It's not like the easiest deck to play, but it's also kind of a deck that if you just kind of work through it for long enough, like you'll get good at it for sure. I'd say probably the more difficult thing is like if you get interrupted, which you know is going to happen, kind of what's the best play next. But I've done pretty like extensive testing online and playing casually in person, and I've had pretty good luck with the deck. Definitely, if you like want to cut, if you're like testing out and you think that you're having issues, you can definitely like kind of cut some of the extenders. You might not need like the Skater, Dawnwalker, or you know, cards like that. Like you can cut those and put hand traps in or more disruptions for your opponent. But yeah, there's lots of options of cards that you can play in this deck. And it's, I think overall, what I think if you're playing Baron at a floor, let me just do a kind of a quick tally here. I would say for your extra deck, we'll start off with not playing Baron at the floor. If you're not playing Baron at the floor, for the Crystal Wing Synchro Dragon, you're looking at probably at least $5 or $6, maybe $7 for the basic copy. Shooting Majestic Star, I mean, it's like $3 or $4, so maybe like that's 10 for those two. Garden Rose Maiden's like $5 to $8, depending. It kind of fluctuates up and down. But I'd say overall for your extra deck, if you're not playing Baron at the floor, you're probably looking at $120 maybe at max. And that's just because I don't want to tally up every $2 or $3 card, but I would say it's definitely under $120 if you're not playing Baron at the floor. If you are playing it, then it is going to be around $200 to $215 for your extra deck, which gets a lot more expensive. So like I said, feel free to cut the Baron at the floor. You don't need it to win games. It definitely helps. But if you want to play it without it, definitely go for it. You can play the Trishula or whatever you want instead. A level, I would say probably play, I guess I would say play the Satellite Warrior, but the thing is like, I don't know if that's a good alternative, because if you're going first, Trishula is going to be better. So maybe you could like side one of them and change them depending, up to you. Or you could just go with Trishula, and it's a little bit more flexible as far as if you're going first or second. But completely up to you. Like I mentioned in the deck profile too, like instead of going to Baron at a floor, a lot of times you can just go into your FA Dawn Dragster, which these by the way are like 20 cents, maybe 50 cents for the super. I think there's a common printing of it as well, but the holo version is pretty cheap. But yeah, there's a lot of options you can go into. Yeah, I think also if you wanted to, you can even do like Psy-Frame Lord Omega if you wanted to. You kind of have a pretty good freedom with like what levels you want to go into instead of going in. Like you don't have, it doesn't have to be a level 10 monster. You have pretty good flexibility with that last summon, with what you can do anything you want, basically, whatever suits you. But hopefully that's helpful. But as for the main deck, and I kind of talked about it. Sorry, I just dropped all these cards. I talked about it when we were going over the deck profile, but most cards are like either pennies or like a couple bucks. And the only cards that are more than that, so Synchro Overtake, I think is like $4 or $5, maybe even cheaper now, but you need to play 3 copies of that. So that's one expensive card. The Skater Dawnwalkers, these are going to be somewhere between like $13 to $20. I haven't checked in a while, but I also think that these are just a really cool card to have around, but they might get reprinted soon in that Legendary Duel Season 3. So I would keep your eye on that, because then they would obviously be really cheap, because they're already not too expensive at $15 a piece. But other than that, like most of the cards are like these Cleaver Claws. These are, I think, out of Eldorado, no, Maximum Gold. I think it's the Maximum Gold from last year though. But they're like 10, 15 cents a piece. And the Doppel Warriors are like 10, 15 cents a piece. Like most of these cards are very cheap. Arrive in Light, the secret rare that I'm playing, you only need to play one, and they're like under $2, maybe even $1. Junk Synchrons, you can get commons. Yeah, there's really not anything in here that's expensive. Oh yeah, the 2 Stardust Synchrons, those are going to be, $14 to $15 a piece, but like I said, you only need to play 2. But let's just say you're playing the most expensive version of the main deck, not the most expensive, like highest rarity, but like you're playing the Skater Dawnwalkers. You're probably looking at, I would say, $125. I think. Let's see. So that's 45. So I'd say 150 tops for sure. But if you weren't playing those, and you definitely don't need to, it would be like around $100 for the main deck. So if you wanted to, like if we went with the lowest budgetist version, of kind of the combos that we went through and cards that we talked to, I think you could build this deck for $200. And probably a lot of these cards you have laying around, like I think most people probably have some of these synchro cards laying around. So definitely I would go through your bulk and see what you can find, but it's definitely on the cheaper end of like decks that you can play right now. There are $100 decks that you can play. Like I guess my example would be Altergeist, like I talked about earlier. Like that deck is probably $100 to $150. But I think that this deck's a lot more fun if you're a combo player or like combo or even like 5Ds in general. 5Ds is my favorite season, so that's why I gravitate towards this deck personally. But yeah, you definitely don't need to play like Ash Blossoms or anything like that. Anything like that is going to be optional for you. It's a pure deck, so there's not going to be any DPE engines or any of that shenanigans. You don't need to play Forbidden Droplets or anything like that. If you have Forbidden Droplets, by all means play them, but like I said, go with Chalice or something else. But I hope y'all enjoyed. Like I said, let me know if you have any questions. We'll probably do a market watch within the next day or two. But thanks for watching, and like and subscribe.